peeps, welcome back to the newest episode of Just Ask the GOAT with yours truly, Neira the G.O.A.T. If this is your first time listening, thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed the podcast. If you're a returning guest, what's down, cousin? I'm so happy that you're back. Let's get into this week's episode.
Hey y'all, welcome back. It's Neira, aka Neira the GOAT, also known as your favorite manifesting cousin, and we are back with another Just Ask the GOAT episode. I know I'm late, but this episode is so close to my heart because it's still Pride Month, and before the month is over, I wanted to get this episode out because the LGBTQIA plus community is so important to me. I love you guys. So, to celebrate Pride in the best way that I know is to highlight a dear friend of mine, Aryka Randall. As you guys know, if you've watched Life Under the Scope, she and I have known each other for a very long time, and she is a fellow creative and a pillar in the gay community. So I wanted to celebrate Pride through the best way that I know, which is through storytelling, sisterhood, and spotlighting one of my fellow creators who has been doing this for a very long time. Today's episode is called Storytelling Strippers, and yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. I'm joined by one of my day ones, Aryka Randall, a proud Black queer creative, founder of thefabfemme.com, a force in independent filmmaking, and most importantly, my friend. Aryka and I met years ago before filming in the world of dance. We were known as Nina and Jewel. Before we ever wrote scripts, ran productions, or directed anything. And somewhere through grit, glitter, and grind, we ended up co-creating Girl Play TV, our own little baby of a web series. In this episode, we talk about the power of collaboration, what it means to create with what you have, and how to literally make magic out of thin air. We'll also be discussing why it's so important to use the people that are around you, especially when your budget is tight. It's not just practical, but it's actually a form of nepotism. So this episode is for the lovers of film and the lovers of the queer, like me, for the femmes who create from scratch, and for every independent storyteller who's ever felt like we might not have a lot, but at least we have each other. Let's get into it. And we just gonna get this thing cracking. So state your name for the people, who you are and what you do.
My name is, you want my first and last name? My name is Aryka Randall. And I am, I'm a multi-hyphenate creative, I guess. But I am a still photographer, cinematic photographer, and I'm also a filmmaker. Those are the main things.
Yes. And how did you meet Neira?
Oh man. Okay, so I don't remember our initial, I don't remember in detail the first exchange, but I remember first of all, I was working at a strip club in Louisiana called Michael's. And I remember when Neira first started working there, she was just very friendly. You were just smiling at everybody, just friendly. So you had a very personable personality, but I feel like when we first actually really started to talk was probably a little bit before we talked about doing web series together. Mm-hmm. So, because one thing I remember about you was always solo dolo at work. You just make your money and mind your business. You wasn't hanging out with a whole bunch of people. So, but yeah, I just remember you always being cool and meeting you there, and you just kind of randomly started working there. And then we got closer when we started doing the filming stuff together.
Mm-hmm. So you're originally from California.
Mm-hmm. Yep, from San Diego.
And how did you get to Louisiana?
The rent is too... Can I cuss on here?
Yeah.
The rent is too fucking high here. So, it's too fucking high. I will not get on a soapbox about that, but in 2004, my mom was single parent, living kind of near the stadium, so that area it's called Mission Valley. That area is considered a little pricier, but to be clear, her rent in 2004 for a 2-bedroom was about $1,400 in 2004. People were still getting apartments for $650 and $550 and $750 in 2004. Um, so I just remember her literally coming to my room one day and being like, "Hey, like, I think I want to move." And of course, me like, being a senior in high school, I'm like, "Oh my god, my friends," and she's like, "Your friends aren't chipping in on our rent, so I don't really know what to tell you." And she actually applied for some jobs in Lake Charles. Um, was it, yeah, at McNeese State University, where I ended up going to school, and she got the job for grant writing and fundraising and development, and we moved. And just, yeah, it was like a culture shock in a good way. But we moved in the summer, so I didn't really see anybody yet. School was out of session, so it was weird and lonely initially, but then I grew to love it.
How did you get into dancing? Was Michael's like your first club?
Yeah.
What?
Michael's was everybody's first club.
It was a good launching pad.
It was. And that was actually the club that I worked at for the longest, because I worked in multiple clubs. Maybe I traveled, but yeah, it was. My thing was backwards, kind of like yourself. I know you mentioned how you started working there. I also went in to be a waitress, but they weren't like, "Oh, you a bad bitch, you need to be a dancer." They were just like, "We don't have any waitress positions open," and I was like, I need to make some money. So this girl named Paris at the time was like, "I got my dancer bag. Like, you can just borrow my heels, whatever." And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just try it out." I got up there. I will never forget. Oh God, it was like 112 Peaches and Cream was playing, and the rhythm that you have in real life versus the rhythm like. Hold on, just a minute. Sweet. Oh, okay. Um, Hold on just a minute, Neira. Okay.
Moving to girl play. I don't really remember our initial interaction with each other either.
I do. I remember that interaction.
Well, you tell the story, child.
Okay, because it's seared into my brain. So I'm gonna keep this part short just so we can get to where you literally popped from around the locker. I mean, I it's like a visual, like seared totally into my brain. It's so funny because I can't remember what I did yesterday. So I lived in Louisiana twice. The first time was just for a very long time. The second time was with me and my first girlfriend broke up, right? And so I dragged my sad ass to Houston for like a year to go and live with my mom and just be sad and like be away. Cause like at that first break, like everything you see, you just be like, this is so sad. So I went to Houston or whatever for a year. And then when I made my way back, I came back to Michael's. So that's actually when I met you. It was the second time I was working at Michael's. No, was it? Yeah. Yes, because I hadn't done any film stuff yet. So yes. So as I come back, whatever, and I'm that's how I got back there. So as I'm working there, I remember I wrote this series called Confessions of a Femme, right? And it was on fucking Tumblr. And it was all about like my first breakup and like the transition of moving to Houston, and it was just written in like short story format. And I posted it, and it is still there. And I posted it, and I don't remember who I was talking to about this in the locker room one day. That I was saying I was thinking about turning it into like a book or whatever. And you literally popped around from this side and was like, "Hey, I don't know if you're like into film stuff, but there's this show called Awkward Black Girl, and it sounds like it has like the same. It's about like a young Black girl, her experience. She's trying to break into XYZ in LA." And you were like, "You should consider turning it into a show." And that's literally how that happened. And it's so funny because every time somebody asks me how I got in a film, they think I'm gonna say something very profound. And that's what I tell them, and they just look so disappointed. They'd be like, "So it wasn't your idea?" I'm like, "No, but
it was actually a stripper named Nina."
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not a damn fool though. If somebody has a good idea, it don't need to be my idea. It just needs to be an idea. Like somebody just say the thing out loud.
That part. And so I remember you saying like, "Oh, I wanted to be like the L Word meets Sex and the City, but like
Yeah.
with Black girls, but in New Orleans. And I was
Mhm.
like, okay.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And
Exactly.
it was really really cool being able to do that, because when I sold him my car and I had Smoking Diaries. That was the series that I was working on, and I had submitted it to like a couple of festivals, contests. Like nothing was really coming up of it. And I would still write little short things here and there, but sometimes I feel like it's so cool whenever you have those moments and
Mhm.
you're like, it's almost like you are looking for an accountability partner to be able to push you. And I felt like we were that for each other, to be able to kind of
Yes.
push one another to just get it done and not just be stuck in our heads.
Yeah.
Um, and so I was super, super excited to help write that. And how many episodes did we do in total? Was it like 10 or 8 or 10 or
I feel like we wrote 8, I think.
and
I don't
then
know. That was many laptops ago.
I know. Was. And you were able to film and produce 4 of them, right?
Mhm.
And were you paying for these productions with your stripper money?
Yeah. Most definitely. Yep. Because yeah, I feel like by the time we started, I was working in Baton Rouge because I was working at well, first I was working in Lobdell at Crazy Horse. Then I upgraded. Me and she won't care. Me and Lexi left together. I forget what they did to piss her off. We're like, we're leaving and I'm gonna come with you. And we ended up driving up to Baton Rouge to dance together every night. And then we left there and went to Penthouse together.
Mhm.
So me and her were stuck together for we were just thugging it out between the two. And then from Penthouse, she lived in Lafayette still. I ended up moving to New Orleans and ended up working a Hustler.
Mhm.
Go figure. And I would just go to work and then just have money like the next day to pay for stuff.
Yeah.
Let me say this though. I'll put this out here for everybody. The first 2 cameramen we had were amazing. When I started doing like pickups on my own with this guy whose name I will not mention, like Voldemort, that bitch was a terrible videographer. He was not a cinematographer in any and bitch, he was using my stripper money to take his wife to swingers clubs and not even giving a fuck about actually filming.
Oh no. I was so I mentioned, like when I was filming my part, I was like, so I know that Aryka was like funding this herself, and I'm not sure exactly what stopped it or whatever, but I'm sure that has to be it's stressful. Because it's not just about picking up a camera and recording. It is
Right.
managing schedules, managing personalities, and then also finding talent, whether it's the actor or the camera people, that's going to actually make your vision come to life in a way that you see it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was difficult, but I'm very proud of you for what you
Thank
have.
you.
Yeah,
I'm
and
proud of us. Like we did good. It was because even like the beginning, we had to recast the lead. Remember, we had like, and it stuff like that happens. And now, like that I have experience, it's like whatever. But back then, it was like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? Because you're asking people to trust this group of filmmakers who've never made anything before,
Mhm.
who have no budget. Really, the only person who's getting paid is the fucking camera. Like we just had whoever hold a boom mic. Who does that? Literally anybody, whoever was just standing around. You're not in this scene. Can you hold this? Um,
Yeah.
didn't pay for any perm, just asked. And God, thank God, New Orleans is so friendly. Cafe Du Monde, of all places,
Mm-hmm.
to be like, y'all can sit here as long as you want, as long as you're buying beignets.
And the beignets are $2 for 3.
Bitch, we were in there zooted up off the coffee. Just this was a great steak. Like it was it was great though. And then we would go out at night.
Mm-hmm. That's
Good times.
amazing, though. It is good times, and it's so nice. Like I said, by the time we actually launched it, I was already pregnant with Eli. So I
Mhm.
was so happy to see it come to life, especially being in that transitional period as a new mom and everything. But whenever we were filming, like we're saying, we had to use whoever would be willing to help us. And I like to talk a little bit about collaboration and the importance of that, because I know that we had used music from like my cousin Crucial, my sister. We even used my niece in one of the episodes.
You know, it's funny because I think that, and I've never even thought about this like this before, but I think that when we have things that are lower budget, we like to say like, oh, we just had to grab wherever or whoever. When people have money, we call it nepotism. There's really no difference, you
You're
know,
right.
except for like the lack of experience people may have sometimes. Um, but like the music that we had was good and the people did good. A lot of them did not go on to be like professional actors because that wasn't their thing. This was something fun, you know. But you know, anybody, the fact that people were dedicated to giving X amount of days to something that was just a labor of love is pretty, you know, it's pretty great.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. It was great. And you have been able to move on and do so many amazing things. It has been such a pleasure being able to watch all of the cool things. And by the way, I know like you guys probably won't see my face, but I am a part of Aryka's close friends list and I get to see all the behind the scenes shit
I'm
she
dead.
does before it goes to social media. And I just be in my bed kicking my feet together like a little excited kid because it's just so amazing to think about where we started and all the things that you've been able to do. And we only got like 8 minutes left. So if you'd like to talk a little bit about those experiences, I'd be so happy to hear that.
Yeah, it's just funny because I've always been like a storyteller, even if it was just a different medium like writing. Um, you know, film is the one thing that stuck with me. It's the only thing I've been able to like commit to career-wise for a long period of time. And I don't know, I wouldn't have expected some of the things that happen. But I, you know, I've done like obviously other series and projects since there that are like mine with short films or episodic. But getting onto other film sets that are bigger has been able to like help me help other filmmakers with knowing how to actually run productions correctly and do things like that. Um, and just like upped my confidence on my own because I'm like, oh, I deserve to be in this room with these people.
Yeah.
Um, so I don't know. It feels good. I think it's pretty cool. I've gotten into this weird industry that everyone's like, it's so hard. I'm like, no, it's not. You just need to be consistent.
Yeah.
It's taken a long time. You know, it took me what that was almost 13 years ago. So it took me, hypothetically speaking, over 10 years to finally get on something that was for Disney or Audible or fucking Hulu or whatever. Like people just see it when it happens, but I'm like, this has been an effort on my part for over a decade.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just feel lucky. And I also just feel like we need more independent filmmakers because the industry is wanting to go in that route right now or in that space where they don't have to spend so much money on developing an idea versus taking an idea that's already good and elevating it. So I would encourage everybody to get in their independent filmmaking bag. Um, as as Hollywood crumbles little by little, it's a good space to be in. Like do your own stuff. Do not wait on an executive, you know. And I think that's where I'll roughly end that at on my part at least. Like, please, people, do your own things. Like, do not just wait. It's so crazy how many people approach me and be like, "Can you read the script?" And I'm like, "For what? What do you think I'm gonna do with it?" I don't enjoy producing stuff for other people necessarily, unless it's something I saw organically and was like, "Hey, I think I can expand this in this way or that way." But people sending off their scripts, number one, that's a good way to get your shit stolen. And number two, like just figure out, just like how we did, you know, if you all you can do is like a 5-minute pilot and you have to use your friends, just do it. Like let somebody else tell you no. It's don't tell yourself no, you
For
know.
sure. Yeah, I love that. And I want to go back. We got 5 minutes. I want to go back real quick because I know I mentioned the fabfem.com. So when did you start the fabfem your blog?
Oh shit, so fucking long. I started in college. I won't say what year that was, but it was a while ago. No, and all jokes aside, I started like in my early 20s, just to create space for queer women to be visible and queer women that are feminine presenting, because people just think we're straight. We just get overlooked. Gay people, I've had gay people, oh, you're gay, and I just be looking at them like,
Right.
yeah, I mean, are we all supposed to look like fucking Ellen? That's not how that fucking works. There's the fuck, so I don't look like Leah Delaria, so I don't count. Like, okay, yeah, but that's also part of how I got into photography specifically, was wanting to shoot like at events when they gave me like press passes and stuff, and I didn't want to have to hire somebody come out of pocket. So that was my first little, segue into event photography. But yeah, it's still up and running. I'm actually going to write an article today. And I'm actually planning on using some of my expertise in film now to create like some new queer content, documentaries, some episodic stuff, maybe one day some scripted things as well. But right now, more like documentary style things.
I remember whenever I did tell you about Awkward Black Girl, to touch on girl play a little bit more, I felt like we had gold, because I don't think that there was anybody in the space on YouTube making content for queer women of color and feminine presenting queer women of color. And you taught me so much about the community, the lingo, all of those things. But I think that is what drew people into wanting to watch it. I thought that the characters were, because even though we, like you said, we just kind of got people, even when I think about our character development and you having an idea of how you wanted them to present themselves, like Marty being the player, and
Right.
it was just really, really interesting, because and relatable, which is the reason I think that people like it. I believe I said it was 1 million when we were on the phone the other day, but I'm pretty sure it was like over 99,000. I might have been pushing it, but for 1 million.
We're gonna speak that into existence though in the future.
But Girl Play lived on YouTube, and before taking it down and moving it to Daily Motion, I believe the first episode or the trailer, one of them had like over 90,000 views on it. And for me, I remember looking at it before working at my ex company that everybody knows that I work at, but I ain't gonna say the name.
Bitch. Sorry.
I remember seeing that somewhere in between the interim of not having Girl Play and working there, and just thinking like, wow, I can't believe that we created something that had that many eyes on it. And I think that as an independent, it's like that's your goal. Like you just want people to see, you just want to make your art and have people see it and like it. And so before we get off, I just want to say thank you for having me to be a part of that. And I'm grateful that you kept the fire burning. My life took a few different turns with being a mom, a wife, and all that shit, but here we are.
It always comes back when it's supposed to. I took a break too for a little while and just didn't know what the fuck I was doing. Just in general, I didn't have kids. There was no reason for the detour. Just detour.
Sometimes we go through those seasons, though, I think, because there are things about ourselves that we have to learn. And I think that there's certain things that you can't learn about yourself until you have a season of feeling like you just don't know, because it's in those seasons that you don't know that you find out.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's true.
Grateful even for those moments too. I hope that conversation fed your spirit like it did mine. Before we go, I want to leave you all with just a little bit more of Aryka's creative world. Last year, she created a short film entitled The Staycation, and baby, it's tea. I guess that's what they do. The film is a testament of everything that we discussed in today's episode. Telling your own stories, centering queer relationships, and showing up for your vision, whether you have a Hollywood background and budget or not. Stick around and watch the official trailer of The Staycation. And when it's done, check out erykapproductions.com to support all of my girls' creative endeavors. And until next time, go forth, be great. Always remember, what you are seeking is seeking you. I love you, and happy Pride Month!
We
We have arrived, the party going live.
We thought y'all got lost. No men, no reception. What exactly did you search to find this place?
This is my Aunt Ruby's house.
Where's Aunt Ruby? Dee, come look at this.
Now you dead, bitch.
I told everyone this place was creepy earlier, and no one took me seriously. Hello?
Hey peeps, thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. I hope that you were able to find a jewel that you can keep with you every day or put it in your back pocket for a later date. If there are any topics that you'd like for me to discuss on the podcast, please feel free to shoot me an email to Neira the G.O.A.T @gmail.com. Remember to like this episode, share it with a friend, leave a comment, give it a rating, whatever floats your boat. Go forth, be great. Always remember, what you're seeking is seeking you too, and everything that you need is already within you. So go within.